to Ridiculously Happy Peoplecast. I'm Sophia Levin, and I am recording with Nikki today. And it's been a while. It's been a while since we recorded the podcast, Nikki. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I was just laughing that, like, when you get the notification, like, meeting is now recording, you also get the option to just leave the meeting. Like, actually, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. I'm like, that's funny. So I appreciate that.
It would be great if you accidentally clicked on that button at some point.
Bye.
Like, are you ready to record? Yep.
No.
This meeting is now being recorded. And then you just reach for the X button and you just accidentally hit leave meeting. I'd be like, aw.
Oh, it's too funny.
So what's new? Because it's been a bit. I can't even remember. It's November 3rd.
I feel like
we're recording now. And then
August, September?
Yeah.
It has been a while. It's cold now, which sucks, but I'm not a winter person. But we took our girls trick-or-treating for the first time on, I guess it was Tuesday for Halloween. So our oldest is 3.5. So we're like, all right, like, she knows what's going on. She's into it. Our 1.5-year-old sat in the wagon and then got really sad every time Evelyn and I went up the door because she's like, you're leaving me. But Evelyn had a blast. Like, she's normally a really, really shy kid. And so I was a little worried about how this was going to go over. If she's just going to stand there, like, give me the candy. But she said trick or treat at every house and said thank you. And, like, I didn't have to prompt her. And she was a fairy princess. So I got all kinds of comments on how cute she was. And
of course,
that made me feel good. So we were out for maybe like an hour, which seemed like actually it went by really quick. So
that's impressive.
Was fun. And now we have a ton of candy, so I don't know how I've been doing this wrong for years. Send my kids out to get the candy for me.
True.
Like, you're so cute. You have an empty bucket. Here you go. Yep. I'm like, perfect.
True.
Yeah. So there's an upside to being out in the dark and the snow. But yeah, so that was fun.
That's awesome. Well, I'm surprised they lasted an hour. That's impressive. Like, I'm always telling parents with photos, like, they're only going to focus for about 20 minutes and then they're going to be out.
Axel and Addie went home early. They went home about like 25 minutes in. She like had enough. So they came home and like had snuggles and movie time and had like all the warm stuff ready for us. And we stayed another 45 minutes. So it was good. There was all four of us so we could split when we needed to, which made it easier.
That sounds like it was some pretty solid teamwork.
It was. Yeah. Teamwork makes the dream work for sure. Because then by myself, I would have had to turn back for Addie or deal with the screaming kid the whole time. And then Evelyn would have been the screaming kid because she didn't want to stop. And then it was good. By the end, she was like, okay, one more house. I'm all done. I'm like, perfect. This is great timing. There's our house right there. Awesome. Yeah.
That's awesome. So that's really good. Don't you love it when kids get tired of an activity before you do? And they're like, okay, I'm done.
It's ideal. Yeah.
My mom sent me this video on Instagram that I had already seen. And I don't know if you browse Instagram or what the Instagram algorithms show you, but they show me cats, dogs, birds, donkeys, goats, pigs, cows, and kids. And this kid, long blonde hair, and obviously this kid's, and I'm not sure if it's a boy or a girl, to be honest with you, but whatever. The kid's arguing with a parent or an uncle or something, and, you know, that person's obviously trying to mess with the kid. And the video just starts out with the kid going, I'm cranky, I'm tired, and I worked really hard at school today. And the parent's just like, what are you saying? You don't want me to mess with you? And the kid, yes, like, I'm cranky, I'm tired. It was so funny. And the parent's just like, okay.
That's awesome.
And then the kid just turns around and starts walking away and just goes, I gotta stop getting cranky and tired. I'm like, this is like a genius kid. Like, emotional intelligence much? Wow.
I love that. Like, and imagine me going to do that as an adult, being like, you know what? I'm done with this. So see you later. It'd be so much easier.
I should probably develop that skill.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, or maybe we just lose that skill, but whatever.
Yeah,
what can you
start
do?
adding in a filter, and it's like, oh no, I couldn't possibly say that out loud.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. I don't think a whole heck of a lot has changed for either of us since we last recorded. It's just been a couple months, but we are, as you mentioned, transitioning into a new season, which is winter. And where we live in the world, we have already had a couple of snowstorms.
Yes.
Do you still have snow on the ground?
We don't have any here. It's like overcast but bright and like dry cold today. But no more snow. I think you guys, even Barry, got a lot more than we got. We kind of were in this pocket for a change where we didn't get much snow. And normally it's the opposite.
Yeah.
So
I think we got, from what I have experienced, because since it has snowed, I have been from home to Barry and to Collingwood, which is 2 hours and 1 hour away from me, respectively. And it looks like we got the most snow and it stuck around the longest. It wasn't horrible by any means, but you and I tried to record a couple days ago and it was in the middle of a very short snowstorm and the road was slippery. And I'm like, I'm getting in my car and I'm just going, I don't have snow tires on yet.
Not worth it.
Not doing it.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, so I'm glad that you were able to reschedule. But anyway, not much is different for me, except that I picked up a cold a few weeks ago, and that was really exhausting. And I don't know if you could tell in my voice, but it's not entirely gone yet. And then I had my BNI meeting yesterday, and I got up at 4:30 in the morning to drive to that.
Oh my goodness.
And it was like, my stomach's bothering me. But I had to go because I'm president and it was my feature presentation, which is the topic we're going to talk about today. And I was like, I have to go. And so every 5 minutes driving there, I'm like, oh no. And I'm like, no, I think I'm okay. Oh no.
Oh no.
No, I'm all right. You know what I'm talking about? Like when your stomach's bothering
that is the
you.
Worst.
And you can't tell if it's a problem or not.
Yeah. Am I gonna lose it or am I okay? And I can just focus and get there. Yeah.
I ended up being fine.
Good.
Thank
That's
goodness.
good.
And my presentation went well. And then I had a meeting after. And halfway, or maybe 5 minutes into that meeting, my whole body was just like, no, you're tired. You need to go home and take a nap.
It's actually rest time now.
I know. And I haven't quite recovered. And I'm a little groggy and tired, and so I might ramble as I already am, and that's okay. But the topic we're going to talk about, obviously, since it's snowing, is holiday gifting.
Woohoo.
I feel like there should be more enthusiasm in my voice, but I sort of try to reduce that a little bit in November when I'm talking about holiday gifting, because whenever I bring it up, people are like, no, it's not the holidays yet.
Which is also hilarious. I was talking to my sister this morning and she's like, I want to put up my Christmas tree. I was like, go for it.
She should do it.
That's what I said. I was like, honestly, if that's what makes you happy, then do it. Like the only reason my tree is not up yet is because we do a real tree. So I have to be very careful of how early I go and get my tree.
True.
Otherwise, by Christmas, there is no tree left, right? So
that's a good point.
I'm like, put that tree up. Do it. Make yourself feel happy.
That, yes. And people have real plants and fake plants in their house all the time. Why can't you have a tree?
What's the difference, right? That's what I feel.
Put lights in it and colorful things if you want to.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Part of the reason I have to talk about holiday gifting so soon is because with regard to photography, when people are ordering prints from me for holiday gifts, because of the way that they're produced, they're all photographically printed and professionally finished, and everything is they take a little bit longer to get done than something you might order on Amazon. So this year I've put out a holiday gift guide, which has, the ridiculously happy holiday gift guide. And it has a bunch of print options in there that I carry, as well as pricing and deadlines. So I highly recommend everyone download it now so that they can order their prints in time for Christmas. I'm just going to put that out there at the beginning of this show. And also the gifts that are available there are available to everyone, not just people that I have photographed. So there is a private print shop associated with the gift guide. So if anyone wants their own private print shop, they just let me know and I set it up for them where they can upload their own photos and get professional quality prints for their family. and they're really cool, and we're going to talk about them.
Technical difficulties. It's too loud.
Oh, that's good. Mm-hmm. So you've had a chance to have a look at the gift guide, and before we get into all of these notes that I wrote down, what do you think?
I think it's great. I think it's such a great idea to like help people think about outside of the box things. I feel like the normal gift guides are like what to buy for him, and it's like whiskey and tools, and like those are your options. I'm like, well, my husband has a full garage and doesn't drink whiskey, so
so those aren't useful.
Nice to have. No, it's nice to have more options, new options, and like more sentimental. I love, especially with like the photo prints, being able to take a memory that's your own or your family's or like extended families, and include that. So my favorites, I have 4 that I picked out. My first favorite is the calendar, because I love that you can look back on your memories every month, and it's a gift that like keeps on giving throughout the year, right? It's not just one and done. So I love when you can choose special photos for the month. Like my sister-in-law did one for my parents and like all the grandparents basically last year. And each month, if it's a kid's birthday, it's a dedicated like montage to them. So that's super fun. And like the calendar day that's itself and stuff. So you can do that, and say for October, like pictures of the costumes from the previous Halloween and spooky memories, or Christmas morning memories for December and birthday parties in June. And like being able to focus it that way and have like fun and silly photos each month is always just a nice little like, oh, remember this? And especially like as the year goes on, especially if you're doing small kids, like last year, Addie was tiny, so her pictures from the calendar were like brand new baby, and then she's like a year and a half, and it's just funny seeing like the big difference. But so I love calendars. I think they're great, and then they're always hung up like in my house anyway, right in the kitchen. So it's nice to see when everyone comes in and gathers and all that fun stuff. And then my other favorite one is ornaments, because I'm a big ornament person anyway. But to have that special memory of your loved ones like right on your tree is so sentimental, and especially loved ones that maybe have passed on or you don't get to see as much, to have that memory is really beautiful. And I thought, because you do the metal ones, which I think is super cool, and you could even hang them on the fridge all year long if you wanted to.
True.
And make them like little magnets. So that's my other fun thought there. The other idea I super love are the holiday cards. Because I feel like people don't send holiday cards the way that they used to. Like as a kid, I remember my mom would hang a string like on the fireplace, and they'd all be hung up there, and you'd see them as like part of the stocking decorations, right?
Yep.
So now I think we get like 3 holiday cards, like one from my parents, one from my husband's parents, and then like you send them, so I get one from you. That's generally where it ends. Yep. But I love how like it's a great way to send to your loved ones and let them know, like do like almost like a end of the year update, like let them know how your year's been, write a special message, use it as like a bit of a newsletter, especially if you have relatives or friends that aren't really social media enthusiasts and they're not seeing any updates that you're posting, then they get that kind of snail mail traditional aspect. And then there are also really nice keepsakes, because especially if you design them yourself and they're really beautiful and they have your photos in them, like you can add that into a scrapbook or into a photo album, and it kind of does double duty there, which is cool. And then people are less likely to throw them out if your face is on it, is how I feel. So
that's a good point. I've never worded it that way, but yes, that is true.
It's like it's like, oh, it's also a picture of my family. Do I put that in the garbage, or do I put that in the keep pile, right? So
hopefully in the keep pile.
The keep pile, for sure, I would hope. Yeah. Like, how do you throw out a picture of my kids? That's a personal attack, right? So, and then my last favorite one are the books and the albums, which also make another beautiful and thoughtful gift. The linen box, I think, is stunning. And again, it's that traditional aspect. Instead of like texting photos back and forth with your family, it's a great idea for your extended family, grandparents, great-grandparents, great aunts and uncles. My sister-in-law and brother one year did an album of their daughter's like first year, because she's a February baby, so they had almost a whole year by the time Christmas rolled around, and just special photos with her grandparents and aunts and uncles, and was just super thoughtful. And then another idea that I thought of was to do like a mini album of your wedding as an extra thank you, like say to your bridesmaids and groomsmen or mother of the bride and that kind of thing. So showcase within your home or to your family members with your favorite shots. Yeah.
That's excellent.
Those are my favorites.
Those are very good notes.
Oh, thank you.
You gave me some ideas, so I have to write them down.
Perfect.
Bridal party. Okay. All right. So, as Nikki mentioned, I have calendars and ornaments and holiday cards and books in the guide. I also have matted prints, which are your traditional prints with the mat around them, and then gallery boards, which when you look at them in the guide, look an awful lot like matted prints. So the difference between matted prints and gallery boards is that matted prints have the mat, and gallery boards are just a mounted print. So just the print mounted on board to make it a solid piece. You can put it in a frame or put it on a shelf or whatever you want, and they can have a border or they could have no border. I also have the linen print boxes, canvases, framed prints, acrylics, and then, of course, gift certificates. And for each of these pieces in the holiday gift guide, you can see where the price starts for those, when the order deadline is, and a little bit of a description on each of them. And then I also I've been putting out a few blogs on which types of these gifts might be great for which type of family member. And I appreciate how you mentioned that this is a bit different from other gift guides, because other gift guides are so focused on like what places can you go to buy products to give to your family members, usually adults who already have everything, so you don't know what to get them. Because you're thinking, they already have all of the scotch in the world. What am I going to get them?
Yeah.
Whiskey. I'm going to get them whiskey. The thing about gifting your family photos of their own family is that they will always be happy with those gifts. You could do photos every year and your family's always going to be like, this is awesome.
We literally so my oldest daughter's 3.5. And so this will be her 4th Christmas. And for the past 3 Christmases, grandparents have gotten photos. And they love it. They're already framed. Yep. They're ready to go put up in their house. Or like my mom has a ton of frames. So I'll give her like a new frame and then like 4 prints and she'll go and swap out and refresh. And like, they're going to say no to my beautiful 3-year-old? No way. I know, right? Like, that's not going to happen.
You are never going to hear that from grandparents.
No. And like when you've been buying gifts for like how many years, like you do run out of things and you don't just want to buy junk, right? Like you don't want to give a gift just to give a gift. If you can give that sentimental, like emotional gift, and that's the winner for me.
Absolutely. And I find every time I work with an extended family, so there's grandparents, their kids, all siblings, and then grandkids, it's usually the matriarch of the family, so the grandmother, who's like, I have been asking them for this photo for years. And believe it or not, these gifts can sort of alleviate that stress, the request of the extended family photo session from the grandmother, because in a lot of these products, there's opportunities to collaborate with your family. So if you have siblings who live farther away and you can't get together for a family photo, you can put together gifts from the kids and the grandkids to the grandparents that include photos of all of their kids and their grandkids. So the albums, for example, you don't have to have, 2 cousins standing side by side in a photo. You can have 2 photos of 2 cousins next to each other, and then that might take care of the I want a family photo session request every year, which happens a lot. Yeah. So yeah, grandparents, it's a great gift for grandparents. Calendars, for example, I really love calendars for grandparents, especially grandparents who might be, well, obviously everyone's aging, but you might have cases of dementia in some families, and general memory loss, and they're not as active as they used to be. They're not getting out to the family cottage, or you're not able to go on a hike with them anymore. You can take these photos of your family and grandkids that they don't get to see very often. You can mark birthdays in the calendar. You can mark anniversaries. You can write people's names in it, so your parents who are now in long-term care or whatever, they have the dates and the names of all the people in their calendar. It just helps, keep the memory going, keep them looking
Absolutely.
at faces that they recognize and they love. And, it helps them feel a little bit more connected and loved to the people that they don't get to see very often. Because
Absolutely.
I think we find as you age, people become more and more like, family's the most important thing in my life. And they just want to see you and have a good time with you, and putting that effort into just giving them some photos to go into their space and enjoy every day can be very effective.
Absolutely.
One other thing I thought about with the calendars for kids, they can be really great educational tools for your kids. Not your kids, Nikki, yours.
Kids in general. The royal you.
In general. Yeah. So same thing as with aging parents who might be experiencing dementia symptoms, for example, who might be losing their memory. Mark down birthdays and anniversaries. That helps your grandparents remember these things. But for your kids, it sort of instills those family values of, you should know when your siblings' birthdays are.
Absolutely.
This is what your parents' birthdays are. Everyone has birthdays.
It's not just you.
Yeah, exactly. And especially if you're, you are not in the same home as their other parent, mark down the other parent's birthday so that they, are reminded, and they, can call them. But also, you can have them write down, how they feel about the various photos. So the calendars, I'm going to post links to all of these things where you can see pictures of the calendars, for example. The calendars that I have are 12 pages and one photo per page. So on the back of each page, there's just white space. Have the kids look at the calendar, at the photo, just flip it over and have them write down how that photo makes them feel, or how the memory makes them feel, or whatever. Start to instill emotional intelligence with your kids, and 100%. Being aware of their emotions, and being grateful and positive, and talking about how they love their family and all that. And then the calendars also come in 12 languages. So,
awesome.
You can have your calendar in French and sort of help reinforce those things that your kids are learning in school, or you can have it in Portuguese and maybe remind them of where their grandparents came from, or where their parents came from, and sort of, help make sure that they don't entirely lose, important family heritage things.
That's very cool.
Yeah. Great for nostalgia. I also find that the calendars, people don't get rid of them after 12 months. These calendars, you keep them. And I'm not going to pan the camera to show you, but there is a framed copy of one month of one of my calendars from a couple of years ago. And it was a calendar I gave to Kevin a year after we got together. So it was our first anniversary, and we have the anniversary date of our anniversary. Oh my goodness. We have the month of our first anniversary framed, and it's up on the wall in the studio. Cool. And
that's super fun. I love that.
There's different ways to use these things. So,
I love that they can double as a keepsake too, right? It doesn't have to be just, oh, that was a nice month. Okay, that piece goes in the garbage. It's an extra memento.
For sure. Absolutely. And also, if you have your kids write these things down about how they feel about different things, be sure to go back and make them read them when they're teenagers, and then when they're adults, and just be remember when you thought these crazy things, just for fun.
Yeah, 100%.
And the ornaments, you mentioned the ornaments as well. And I had this idea of another way to use ornaments. I love putting them on the fridge. That is a great idea. If you send out holiday cards as well, people are doing that less often. You will probably find your holiday cards on your friends and family's fridges. So
Yep.
just be ready for that. But the ornaments. So you could start building like a holiday decor, like ornament collection for your kids, like immediately. And just get a new ornament every year for each kid in your family.
Yeah.
And just when they're ready to go off on their own, you have a whole bunch of ornaments to send them away with that are just filled of family photos, like images of people that they love. Yeah. So, their first Christmas, they're not decorating with like stuff that they bought at the store
Whatever
that they can't afford anyway. Yeah. If they're going to be at a distance and they're not going to be home for Christmas, the first time they're not home for the holidays, they already have decor that includes the people that they love.
Absolutely.
I saw an ad the other day for DoorDash.
Okay.
Because I stream a lot of TV online. And this ad was geared towards people who stay home on the holidays and they have like a solo holiday. They had like a term for it in the ad and I can't remember what it is. But I watched this ad and I was like, that is genius. They've like put together this whole campaign geared towards the people who are not going to go out and see anyone on the holidays. And it's like just a person under a blanket and everything's green and red. I'm like, that is
DoorDash.
Brilliant marketing. Yeah. Like
that is
brilliant
awesome.
Marketing. It was really good.
Yeah. That's awesome.
One thing that I'm trying to get through to people is how much gifts like these help people's mental health. And it doesn't have to be a gift, even if you printed photos for your own home. It's great for mental health and especially mental health for kids. It's become very trendy to have no photos of your own family in your own home, and everything should be white and crisp and clean and minimalist. Minimalist meaning very few things around. And I just think a photo of a cow that you don't know on your wall is not going to help, your family's mental health as much as photos of the people that they love. Like we should be showing our connection on a regular basis. And I find that photos for kids goes a long way to help reinforce you have a family unit, you have a support system. This is how we see our family.
Love you.
Exactly. This is how we see each other. We love each other, togetherness,
Absolutely.
fun, humor, laughter, good times. That's what we want our family to represent. And I find that could be really important as kids get older, and especially they go into their teenage years. And I see this a lot with Kevin's kids, where I've made an effort to make sure that, every year I'm giving them photo gifts of photos of them and photos of them with their dad that they can have at their mother's house, so that when they're there, they don't forget that their dad exists.
Yeah, they still have a piece of them. Yeah.
Exactly. So they wake up every morning, they see him, and they're like, right, my dad's got me.
Yeah.
Like,
that's so cute. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's great for that. So kids with parents who are split up, like, great, gift them something to put in their room at the other parent's house, but also in your own house, like, whether parents are together or not, you have that period of time when you're a teenager where you think that you're all alone, and just seeing photos around the house of the people that you care about can have a rather good impact on that. And when it gets especially important is when kids go away to school.
Yes.
There's some pretty poor statistics about kids going away to college for the first time, and college or university or wherever, and having a really hard time mentally. And I'm not going to go over any statistics, but it can be a real challenge. And imagine if you dropped them off at school and you decorated their dorm room with canvases of their family. Canvases are lightweight, they're easy to store, and they're easy to transport. And
I remember when I went to university, so I just went to U of T, and at the time my family was living in Barrie, so not a huge distance, enough with a heavy school load and feeling like the end of the world was on your shoulders, right? But and then I had some family that lived in Scarborough, so in a pinch, I could go and have dinner and then make it back for class or evening class or whatever. But I remember drastically like how sterile dorm rooms are.
Yep.
In the first couple months being like, what did I do? Like, I should have just stayed home and gone to Georgia. And like, what am I thinking? And I went over at the time, this is when like Shoppers Drug Mart had the Kodak machines in them. And like, I've always loved printing pictures and whatever. So I went across the road to the Shoppers Drug Mart, printed off a ton of photos, and just with Scotch tape, like double-sided, just like stuck them all over my wall. And it like, I used like the neon, the neon color printer paper. I like did that as like the background or whatever. And I just like put up my wall, and I was like, that just feels so much better. I've said before, like my mom is a huge family photo person. So at home, there's literally pictures everywhere of like every member of our family and like doing silly things, and like we're a pretty tight knit unit. So having that little piece like made me feel, even at 17, like so much more comfortable and at home in like my own little box of a room. Like it was such a huge difference.
That's awesome that you did that. It's very smart. A couple weeks ago, someone I know just let me know that her son, who had gone away to school, he had just broken up with his girlfriend, and he was having a really hard time. So they had to go pick him up and bring him home and sort of help him through that process. And we think that we send our kids away to college. I shouldn't say send our kids away to college. I've never done that before. You send your kids away to college and you think, okay, they are officially an adult and they're going to take care of themselves. And, but their brains have not fully developed until they're 25. And let's be real, at this point in human history, we do not do a very good job of supporting positive mental health for people as we age. So I just think it's like such a good reminder for your kids that when they are having that bad day and they look at a photo with you in it and they think, I'm going to call my mom, that you'd be surprised by how important that little reminder is, because you can get so caught up in your own thoughts and all the things that are going wrong and not think, I'm just going to call my mom and sort it out. I was telling Kevin about my friend who had to go pick up her son, and he's like, what? And I'm like, it happens all the time. Like kids go away to college, they have a hard time, they need to call their parents to whatever. My mom did it. My mom called my grandpa. She was having a hard time at school, and he got it's like that. And my family is going to be just immediately anger. Just all right, hangs up the phone, he's like, I'm going.
But still goes and gets her.
He wasn't angry at her. It was like he had to go into work mode. He's like, she needs me.
I'm going to be 32. I've got 2 kids of my own, married with my own house. And I still, when I'm having a bad day, I'm like, Mom, I sucked. Like, I still call my mom or one of my siblings or like something. Like, I still call my people to be like, okay, like talk me through this. Like, and all you want to hear is like, I'm here for you. You've got this. Like, it's going to be okay. And that's, and being able to like look up and being like, I'm going to call that person today. They're going to make me feel better.
It's great that you said that. This is a great way to do this gifting exercise. Think about those people that you call when you're having a bad day. And those people would probably also like to call you if they're having a bad day. So put together a little photo, including you and some sort of print, and gift it to them just to remind them when they're having a bad day that they can call you. Yeah. So prints for college students. My recommendations would be canvases, but if they're going into like a dorm room that, where it's all the concrete walls and you can't, I guess it's smart that they can't punch holes into their walls, because that would probably be a nightmare for dorms. I could see that being a problem. Acrylic prints could be really great because you can get them in small sizes and like 4x6 or 5x7, and they sit really well on a desk. So all dorm rooms have a desk and a side table, so they can sit them on the desk and the side table. And They're heavy, so they work great as bookends. And if they need to throw them at someone's head, then they can.
Then that works too. And those 3M or those command strip hooks are pretty good too for like the lightweight ones and canvases. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent.
Those are awesome.
Yes, canvases are really light, so they would be really good for that.
Super
and then
helpful.
the calendars as well, because I mean, you probably want them to remember what day of the week it is.
Yeah, here's your class. Come home for holidays.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Very helpful. Yeah.
And then I always recommend books for grandparents, especially for the grandparents who already have everything. And if you like don't have a clue what to get your parents, and you're thinking maybe I'll get them like a basket of cheese, get them a book. In addition to the basket of cheese, because cheese is excellent.
Cheese is great. Yep.
But yeah, and from the private print shop, you and your siblings can upload photos directly there, and then you can collaborate on making a book as well. Yeah, and you can emboss them with like your family name or a funny quote or like something. But parents love them. I guarantee if you put together a book for your parents and give it to them this holiday, like that's the one they're going to open and they're going to cry and they're going to be showing all of their friends because they're going to be so happy and proud. Their kids got them this book. They'll eat the cheese, but they might not talk about it.
But they'll love the book. Yeah. And we all know the gift that brings the tears is the winner on Christmas. So, you know.
And they keep it forever. And here's the other thing. They will keep it forever. It'll never end up in a landfill. And, you know, when they do pass, that's an item that you can immediately take and give to your kids or keep for yourself or as a memory of your parents. Yes. It's going to get passed down, and they're going to cry the day that they open it and look at it, possibly every day that they look at it after that. But also, you're going to cry when you look at it later. Your kids are going to cry when they look at it later, in a good way.
Yes.
All in a good way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then I also have a couple of blogs that I posted just about gifts for working moms and entrepreneurs, which also include calendars because everyone likes to know what day of the week it is. So check those out because moms tend to be the ones who talk to me about, you know, I want to do photos, I want to do this for my house, so on and so forth. They're doing it for their family, but they're kind of doing it because they want it. So dads, partners, get these things.
Do it
for your the moms of your children because they want it. And especially for their offices and stuff, or your office and like studio, whatever. You're going to work. You're not at home. You don't get to see your kids. Why are you working all day? You're working all day to support your family. You know, here's a memory reminder. Exactly.
For sure.
What else should we go over? I have fine art prints as well. And they're available as matted prints, framed prints, canvases, and acrylics. I'll put the link in the show notes for those. There's a number of landscapes, ruralscapes, black and whites, fine art, still
Super
lifes.
beautiful.
Thank you. There's macro photos. There's a very cute photo of and this is not to toot my own horn, but a really cute photo of a caterpillar. Rather fun. Yeah, there's just some cool stuff in there and local landscapes and stuff. And for those, you don't know what to get them, you know, one of these scenes, especially like stuff on Georgian Bay, if this is a place in the world that is calming and like a joyful place for one of your family members, getting them just a little matted print is a great way to just give them a moment in the day to focus on something and be mindful and just, you know, give them something that they can use day to day, but that isn't $70 billion and made of plastic and metal and something they'll enjoy. Do you know what you're gifting this holiday yet?
I do not. My oldest daughter sat down with my husband because she was adamant she needed to make her Christmas list for Santa because all the commercials are on now, right? For all the toys coming out, and she wants all of it. all of it.
Yeah.
So she made a pretty extensive list. So we're gonna divvy it up with the grandparents for sure, because that's what they get to do. But and then what we do. So I have 5 siblings, and of the 5 siblings, 3 others have kids, 2 kids each. So we've gotten to the point over the last few years where we do not do purchased gifts for each other because it gets very expensive. So the kids will make gifts. Yes. So what we've done since we've all had kids is the kids make gifts for each other. So like last year I was like, let's do photos, which is kind of awesome that this is what we're talking about today. So me and Evelyn, because Addie was like a blob on the floor at the time, basically. So we sat down and we made like popsicle stick frames, and then we put a picture of the girls in, and she made one for all of her, like each cousin unit. So it was super fun. She goes doubled as craft time, so it was like a win-win. And we spent like a week, and each day we made a new frame, and she got to give them all out, and everyone loved them. And we put a little hanger on it, so if you wanted to put it on your tree, you could, or you could just keep it in the kids' playroom and do your thing. So we did that last year. This year, I don't know what we're going to do yet. Have not delved that deep into Pinterest. And then for the grandparents, like I said, we usually do photos, which is nice. And then because again, like I think we did like 3 years in a row for my husband's parents where we did like the wine and cheese and charcuterie package. And then his other brother got on board with that last year. And I'm like, you just stole our idea, sir. Like, what are you doing?
That's rude.
So we transitioned to photos of the kids because that's a winner. But yeah, I'm really big on gifting photos actually, because it's a beautiful, and especially with the kids, like they change so much every year that it's like a brand new thing. It's not the same baby picture every single year, right? So that's been a fun adjustment. And then my husband, I started shopping for him, which I won't disclose in case he decides to listen.
Smart.
Yeah. But it's another one. Like this will be our 8th Christmas together, and I'm already running out of things, and then birthdays and Father's Days and anniversaries. I'm like, what else do I buy? I don't know what else to buy you. So it gets very difficult for sure, which is another reason why this gift guide is so much better than all of the other ones out there, because they're so much more sentimental. It's not like buy some soap and a razor, like that's a stocking stuffer, right? So for sure. I've already bought those. I buy those like at the grocery store every week. So you gotta sit down and make my lists.
People are never going to complain about photos.
Literally never.
Like, no, you just don't. And also, like, I say there's like a very teachable moment in this with kids. Like, I think it's great to gift children a photo of their family every year in some way, like calendar, ornament, whatever. You could gift them all photos. And because it's supposed to be, like, we talk so much about how it's family time. The holidays are family time. We're going to focus on giving to our families. But we all know the entire season turns into what gifts do you want? What are you going to get on Christmas? There's never like a, what did you give to your family members? What did you do together? What was your favorite family moment? And I find it's just a great teachable moment for kids where they're going to open a photo every year and they're going to be happy about it because this is their family and this is what is most important. You know, so when they show, because I've done this before, I definitely had gotten gifts as a child and been a total brat about it. And guess what? It was a teachable moment. You know, so even if they act like a brat, you can say, you know what, the holidays are really about family and about giving and spending time together. And so that is why you got this gift. And don't you love the people in this photo? So isn't this a great gift and stuff like that? And obviously there's other opportunities to work on, you know, self-esteem and love and emotional intelligence and language and all that fun stuff, all of which you could do with photos. But just making the focus family and what is most important to family is great. And I totally forgot to mention what my idea was for ornaments. which I mentioned earlier. You could take your ornaments, get a scrapbook for each kid, give them an ornament every year, trace out the ornament in the scrapbook every year, and just have them draw what they see, like color in what you see inside of the traced spot. And then same thing, like write down who's in it. When did it happen?
That is very sweet.
How did it make you feel? Like, or tell the story of what was going on that day or whatever. It helps with language skills, helps memory, helps with emotional intelligence, just good stuff to pass on to your kids.
Absolutely. And especially too for the family that you don't see very often. Like I said, I have a huge family on my side, but we're really spread out. Like I'm the only one in Midland. 2 of my sisters are in Barrie. My brothers are in Oshawa and Mount Albert. So other than major family functions, we don't see each other a lot throughout the year. And it takes a lot of effort for us to all coordinate and gather in one place and then find a place that can hold 20 of us comfortably.
Yes.
Because that says a lot of people. So especially, and then again, like having had Evelyn through COVID too, like we weren't seeing anybody in the beginning. So she loves photos and she loves to be able to look at photos and say, oh, that's my cousin and that's this person and that's this person and that's this person. And it keeps them fresh in her memory that even if she only physically spends time with them 5-6 times a year, she still sees them so much more often and sees them on our wall and on the shelf. And even if it's just pictures in the phone, like her favorite thing to do is look at pictures of her family. And it's so sweet really to see. Yeah. And then there's so many names to remember, but that she can see them and recognize and talk about them randomly because they popped into her head because she remembered them. And it makes it a lot nicer from our perspective that even though we don't always have the time to physically be with them, we can still keep that relationship.
That's impressive. And definitely still making me think that maybe we lose these skills because like you talk to kids about their cousins and even if they see them once a year, they're like, I'm so excited to see them. Or,
yeah.
They were doing this last week.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah. She has this one pink t-shirt that for whatever reason, the last time she saw one of her cousins who's the same age, like they're 2 weeks apart, was wearing a pink t-shirt. And this particular pink t-shirt that Evelyn has reminds her of her cousin, Everly. So we happened to put it on this morning. She's like, Mommy, look, I'm like Everly, look. And she hasn't seen her since Thanksgiving. And she was like so jazzed that they were matching and twinning. And that's awesome. Just the cutest.
That's awesome. And by the way, you said even if we only see each other 5 or 6 times in a year, and I'm over here like the families that I work with are like, their whole family hasn't got together like once in a year for like ever. I'm like, you guys are impressive. Good for you.
We're trying. Thank you.
All right. Do you have a ridiculously happy moment for us?
I'm going to circle back to Halloween on that one. And I probably overshared at the beginning. But yeah, it was just, I was so proud of how good Evelyn's manners were. And like towards like halfway through towards the end, I didn't even have to prompt her for like trick or treat and thank you. And she was all over it. And just like for such a shy kid, like if someone tries to talk to her in the store, she doesn't want to talk to them. And on the one hand, I'm like, yes, stranger danger. You do not engage with people you don't know. Yes. But, you know, if we're out somewhere and someone like at the restaurant or whatever, and you know the waitress brings food, you can say thank you for my orange juice. That's okay. So that she was just on it and like knew how to behave, and she was so good about like holding my hand across the street and like not just running out into dark traffic, like all of these things. So she had a great time. It went way better than I expected. I'm glad that we waited until this year to take her trick-or-treating for the first time, because it just made it a lot of fun. So, yeah.
Well, you just said a lot about teachable moments just now, and all of a sudden I have more respect for Halloween than I have previously, because I've definitely been like, what the heck is the point? We're going to go teach kids to ask for candy, and then they're going to
candy from strangers.
It seems like not a great idea, maybe. But if everyone is collectively deciding to go out and okay, we're going to go to people's houses and we're going to practice good manners, and we're not going to run into traffic, and we're going to wear reflective
road safety
costumes so that people can, that makes a heck of a lot of sense. And if in addition to that, you're like, we're all going to dress up like maniacs while we do it just to make it fun. That makes a lot of sense to me.
You can come out a little bit on top, even with a bag full of candy. Yeah.
Halloween makes a lot more sense to me now. Oh, man. Well, mine was just I did a lot of thinking yesterday. So I had my BNI meeting and I had my featured presentation, and as I mentioned, was not feeling very well. And I have been president for 2 terms now, and I'm going into my 3rd term. And I came on as president, and then, you know, we weren't really following the BNI system. And as you probably know, it can be challenging to get people onto the BNI system. And when you're not following it, things might not go as well as you would like them to. And I just decided, like, well, if I'm president, I'm going to make it what I want it to be. So which is productive. So I've been working pretty hard and going into my 3rd term as president. And we have seen a ton of growth in the last term. And we finished our term in October, the 1st of October, and I ran the stats, and we have had 12 new members come on in the last 12 months.
That is amazing.
Is awesome. We had more people coming in. And I did some training a year ago with BNI. There's all sorts of like really cool training on leadership and, you know, getting your chapter following the system and being enthusiastic about it. And enthusiasm brings in new members, and new members bring in more business, it helps people's businesses grow, basically. And it was all on the J curve about how, you know, we're going to institute change and things are going to get worse for a little bit, because when you change things, adults have a moment of like, I don't like it.
Don't like change.
So you go down, and then things start going up again. And I was just thinking yesterday afternoon, I'm like, actually, we've grown a lot, which is great. But I'm also noticing that the people who are in the chapter and have been in the chapter for a while, like, everyone's contributing more and everyone's more positive, and visitors are excited to join. Like, we had a woman yesterday who I said, we're at 25 members. We've brought in 12 in the last year. And one of our visitors was like, do you want to make it 26? And I'm like, yes.
Yes. That's awesome.
Yes, I do. But so people are getting really excited. So I was like, hey, this is awesome. Success.
Yeah.
I feel proud, though I'm not taking responsibility for it because it's everyone's effort. I definitely did not do it by myself. So it's awesome. I feel like I'm having a moment where I feel like my hard work is paying off, which is really nice.
Good. That is. It's nice to feel that it's like, oh, it's actually working. What I'm doing is worthwhile. It's like I'm not just wasting my time.
I know, right?
Because you get really that middle ground of like, is it gonna work? Is it not gonna work? How much of my energy do I invest, right? And then when you can see it like actually working, it's like, okay, I made the right decision.
And you know that my patience is not endless. In fact, I have very little of it. I tend to get frustrated rather quickly. So it's been nice because, you know, if I hear something that someone else is saying, I'm like, ugh. Like, nothing I'm doing is working. So I'm definitely having one of those moments where things are looking good and I'm not feeling like nothing I'm doing is working. So
good.
I feel really good. I was really happy about it yesterday. Good.
Awesome.
And if you would like to share your ridiculously happy moments with us, you can do it on social media. You'll see some prompts, or you can do it at happyp.pl. So that's happyp.pl/moment. And we will play it on the show because you can record it, which would be fun. It would be lovely to hear people's voices.
That would be fun.
All right, Nikki, where can people find you?
I am online at www.theavasolution.com. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram at The Ava Solution. And always happy to have any preliminary discovery calls and chat about anything there, which can also be booked right through my website or my email address. So, yeah.
Perfect.
Very cool.
Excellent. And if you would like to download a copy of the Holiday Gift Guide, the Ridiculously Happy Holiday Gift Guide, you can get that at happyp.pl/holidays, and I will put the link in the show notes. And I am Sophia Lemon. I photograph ridiculously happy people. And you can find me on Instagram at ridiculously happy people, on Facebook and on Pinterest, and at sophialemon.com. And we invite you to join our Facebook community as well at Ridiculously Happy People. And thank you for making the time to listen to this episode. I am so slurry today. It's a challenge. We hope you feel inspired to live more kindly, more confidently, and more ridiculously happy. And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review in your podcast app of choice. Your feedback is important in helping us spread this ridiculously happy movement. And remember that happiness is contagious, so who do you know who always seems to be busy? Or maybe they have a big family and they need some ideas of what to gift them this holiday season? Share this show with them and help them slow down for a moment and fill up their gift list early this year. You can find the shareable links in the show notes for this episode. And thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.